absolutely right. I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, don't tell your husband I said that. He's a very big guy and I'm a very small person.
Yeah, I would be scared of him. So. No, really.
It's all on tape, so.
That's okay. Then he has my true confession and concern. The first thing that I noticed when I came here, watch where you step because there's a lot of dog stuff here, okay? So hug this tree kind of. Okay. You probably will have questions about a lot of things in the report, but the ones that I'm going to show you now are the ones that are the bigger items, okay? This area here, we have not had that much rain that water needs to be pulling up like this. So I think that there's an issue with the sprinkler system maybe. Something is leaking because, I mean, this is all saturated, all very wet. This was changed recently because I think maybe they thought that that was the problem. And it could have been changed yesterday for all I know, and this is still left over. I have no way of knowing. I looked at the water meter, it doesn't seem to be moving, but sometimes you get a leak and that meter isn't going to turn for like a long time, a little bit. So disclosure is what you want here. Why is this so wet? What was repaired? And I guess you'd want to probably follow up on it, make sure it dries out. We've had this before in different places, and there's no way you can know without some kind of document from the guy who lives here that, hey, yes, we know about it, it was fixed, here's what it was, here's the company that did it, here's the receipt, you can call them if you move in and it's still a problem. That way you have a path. Okay, but right now the condition is this is too wet for the environment that we're in. Hardly rained at all last week. I mean, once or twice, but not this much. The second thing I want to talk to you about is here, right on the same side of the house. When you look here, you see the staining? If you look under there, you see the rust?
Yeah.
Okay, so water is a problem here. It's getting in probably from the stucco. I'll go into that in a little while. But let me show you the inside of the panel. I don't usually do this, but I want you to have an understanding. So communication is there, so we know what we're discussing with people. The rust tells us about a moisture problem or a water problem with the panel. Screw, this one actually has to be replaced. You shouldn't have a pointy screw here. Now taking this off, very hard to see without having a trained eye, but you're going to notice it once I tell you what to look for. Don't get too close, but come in over here. These wires here, okay, see them?
Yeah.
Those are not insulated like these. This has black insulation on it, okay, because it's a hot wire. So when you look at this, the first thing you think is these are black, but they're not black, they're copper. They're corroded. Okay, so you see how corroded they are?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see each and every one of them are corroded. Then when you come over here, you see this little piece that bonds that bus bar, the back of the panel. See the green and black? Okay, now if you look,
Yeah, it's a little green. It's hard to see, but yeah.
now look at the bus bar. This is supposed to be shiny, silver
Okay.
or copper, but it's rusted. And as you look at all these other wires, if you come into this side, if you look close enough, if you can see them, you'll see they're corroded. So the problem I have here is the moisture that's getting in here is causing the wiring to corrode. Now, what's the big deal about that? It may cause a contact issue. It could cause a problem with the electrical because maybe it's not making good contact anymore. So the solution to that is to have an electrician decide whether it's more practical to take this apart, clean it up, and put it back together, or if he thinks it's more practical to replace it. It depends a lot on what that bus bar looks like when he pulls these breakers off. If that bus bar is compromised as significantly as the bottom, and he can't clean it up very well, then you may have to replace it. The second thing is, how did it get this way? So you need an electrician to look at the environment to see if there's anything that has to do with any of the electrical connections as far as conduit and top of the panel that's allowing water to get in. If not, then my theory is the condition of the walls with all these cracks is letting a lot of moisture in, so a lot of moisture might be getting in from the back of the panel. It's hard to say, but we do know the condition is here. And it can be overcome. It's not like it's the end of the world. It's just that you need to know about it before you move forward or as you move forward. because you want to figure out how to address it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is the most the highlight of the inspection as far as I'm concerned, as far as things that need immediate attention. All right, any questions?
I have one question,
Okay.
and it's a personal question.
Okay.
This being a house that you would buy, or potential house that you would buy, would you buy a house with the conditions the way you see them?
Yeah, well, I'm a numbers person. My wife's an accountant, so I'm not a good at numbers when it comes to adding and subtracting. I'm a
Right.
values person. I'm a
Right.
value.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, if I'm spending X amount of dollars on a house, to replace the entire panel is $1,000 or less.
Right.
So in the big picture, that's not a lot of money.
That's not. It would be worth it to me to replace it and have peace of mind.
Exactly. And also in the big picture too, if it costs $500 or $400 or something like that to clean it up and make it okay,
Right.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I'm not okay with spending 10, 20, 30,000 that I don't have to rewire the whole house.
I don't think you have to rewire the whole house.
I'm very HGTV right now.
That's okay. No,
Okay.
it's not going to come to that. What it is here. The reason you're getting the conditions here is because of the environment.
Okay.
Inside, it doesn't look like you have any type of humidity environment or anything like that. And the wires that we have access to on the inside are fine. I've got some exposed wires in the attic in the garage that we're going to recommend get properly terminated, but it gives me a clue as to the condition. And those don't look like this.
Okay.
All right. So the answer to your question is I wouldn't let it prevent
That
me
wouldn't be
from-
an issue.
Yeah,
That wouldn't be a
from
deal
buying
breaker for you.
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay.
It would be if all I had in my bank account was like $500 after buying this house. Then it would
Right.
be. But otherwise, it wouldn't be.
But would this be something that I would need to do immediately, you would think?
I have to, as an inspector, what I do is a general scope. I see the condition here,
And you just
and I know it's
tell
a
me what it is.
concern.
Okay.
Urgency, to me, is a high priority.
Right.
But the electrician may come in and say, you know, it's not a high priority, but it is a problem.
Okay.
You know, the professional who specializes in that might give you more insight.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay? But that's what I wanted to show you, so now you can see with your own eyes.
Right.
All right. And then I think that the rest is pretty self-explanatory when you look around here. This condition here, I think, is also probably easy to fix. Finding the problem, if it still exists, is always the challenge. Where's it leaking from? If he's had it repaired, he'll tell you. The walls, I think the first thing you're going to need to do is probably paint this building, because there's a lot of cracks like that.
Okay.
And
And when you say this building, you mean the whole building or just this side of the house?
no, I mean the entire side, the whole building,
Okay.
every side. When you walk around the back, you can see the skeleton of the concrete block. All right, and it tells me the stucco coat's thin. And when you have that happen, there's certain paints you can buy that are made for this type of thing that will limit the amount of moisture getting into the wall. And that's, you know, when you have that type of problem, it's smart to jump on that early, because if you don't jump on that early, later on inside the house you get conditions that you may not even see as related. Conditions like moisture problems, mold, and things like that, because this actually is allowing water in.
Okay.
You may not see it, he's painted the whole inside, so it might have happened, it may not have happened, but the conditions tell me that it could happen. Always a good idea to stay on top of that stuff,
Okay.
okay, to make sure that you prevent as much as you can.
Okay.
Okay, we usually talk about maintenance and stuff like that, but I think their highlight really is the side of the building and the electrical. In the short term, let's go around to the garage. In the short term, the things I think that you'll need the budget for, I think an air condition probably within the next 3 to 5 years for sure.
Okay. Renee told us that.
You know, and right now though, the good news is sometimes you get into this environment where the air conditioning may need to be replaced in the next 3 to 5 years, but you do the inspection and it's not cooling or something like that. This one's cooling and it's heating. It just needs a good cleanup, and it needs a little service here. Like there's some screws missing, the panels are loose, the stains that are there tell me that maybe some condensation gets on there during the summer, all that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, but nothing as big as a highlight. Of the electrical things that we have, some of the stuff in the attic, I can't bring you up there to show you, but they're there. There's a splice above the garage door. There's wire here. Those are 2 places where we also put on our electrical list of things to look at.
Okay.
All right, but as far as the rest of the building goes, it doesn't look like it's a bad building. The roof is great. 2013, you won't have to worry about a roof for probably another 17 years.
Sounds good.
So that's a huge expense that you don't have to worry about. From the insurance company's point of view, it's a hip roof. Okay, it's got planes on all 4 sides, so that immediately will save you money on your insurance.
Yay.
They also did the re-nail on the roof deck, and you also have good hurricane straps. So when you move forward, when it's time for a wind report, you'll save a ton of money on this roof.
Okay.
So your homeowner's insurance should be a pleasant surprise.
Okay, good.
All right, now in the kitchen, and then I'll let
What
you
about
go.
everything over there? Everything over there?
Oh, this works. Yeah, I ran the washer and dryer. The connections look good. You see the plumbing here. Okay. The dryer vent terminates at the outside wall. There's a vent out there.
Okay.
And I ran both of them, did full cycles. You can see all drained out.
Yeah. I heard you running them earlier.
Yeah, we always do, because sometimes, every once in a while, you walk out of the house from checking something and you got water coming down. So it's good to run them. Thank you. In the kitchen, and this will be the last thing we talk about.
Okay.
Because I know it's a lot. You're just getting in here. Your appliance all work. There's no problem with that. Big pots on the stove. You got to be careful, because this doesn't look like it's going to meet the manufacturer's specification. It really ought to be at a minimum of 16 inches above there because of the heat. So they probably put this in. Someone put this in without thinking that through. You can change it if you
Can I
want.
take this out and put a vent?
Oh yeah.
Put this somewhere else, like on the counter?
Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could put it on the counter, but you can
Looks
find
like it goes up, right? The vents.
Yeah, it vents outside. So you can put a fan only if you wanted to. And you can either sell it on eBay or maybe mount it somewhere else if you wanted.
Okay.
This here, just this sink drain, drainage is really slow on this side.
Okay.
So there's evidence of leaking. The bottom of the cabinet is showing me that it's been wet recently. So when you see the water pile up like that, and then you see the stains underneath there at the plumbing, you know that that's leaked.
Yeah.
And it might be clogged. We had a situation where Renee asked me to stop over one time because of the sink drain thing, and I had to take the thing apart. That looks similar. You have to take it apart, maybe clean it out. Hopefully the obstruction is in the trap. If not, sometimes it's real close by. And you see how it's backing up over there.
This is the garbage.
That's the garbage disposal. So overall, I think it inspected pretty well. Most of what I found was typical, like the cracks in the stucco and the gutters, which we'll talk about another day. The things that were a priority, we just talked about the water and the electrical.
Okay.
I think it looks like a nice house. Okay.
Yay.
All right, it's moved and ready. It just
I'm
needs a
ready
little
to
work.
move in.
Yeah, it works out.
All right.
If you have questions,